Good morning, everyone. Good to see you. Let's get going. Does anybody have any unemployment questions? Abigail Juarez does. Her balance is at $1,800 and she's on Fed ED. Do I get another extension after my balance is depleted? Your claim was on 10/21/2019, went through UI and got converted to Fed ED. So if you've already gone through the PEUC extension, and that means that you're on Fed ED, first of all, great. I'm so glad that you got that. Good morning, Heidi. That's supposed to last for 20 weeks, up to 20 weeks. So it depends on how they gave you your balance. Some people are saying that they get the whole 20 weeks loaded at the beginning, whereas other people and the EDD have said, and this is on top of the PEUC extension, that you'll get 13 weeks loaded. And then if you're still unemployed at the end of 13 weeks, that's when they would load that additional 7 weeks. And they are talking about extending Fed ED, but it hasn't been confirmed yet. I hope that answered your question, Abigail. So let me know if when they put you on Fed ED, if they originally loaded you up with 20 weeks worth. Good morning, Ver, or good morning again. Ver and I do another live session at 9 a.m. on Sunday. That's kind of why I chose this time slot, because I know I'll be like up and ready to do this. Good morning, Goth Queen. You didn't get approved for Fed ED. So now people are saying that the switch to PUA is automatic, but it's taking some time. And certainly if you call, that can often speed up the process of getting switched onto a PUA claim. Trump signed a stimulus package. I am not aware of that. Think Blue sent me a little zombie, which is awesome. My friend Chris is in the chat. He's finally made it. If I could ask everybody to give the video a thumbs up down below, that would be amazing. I'm going to butcher this name. Jaravius wants to know how he can qualify for the extension. His account is at 0. So the first thing you're going to get is the PEUC extension, and that's automatic. Right after your claim balance goes to 0, in about 2 days, you'll get a message on your UI online account. And then after that, in about 5 to 7 days after that, you'll get a letter telling you that you were approved for PEUC. Goth Queen is at 0. But Goth Queen, you went through your PEUC extension, right? That's how you know that you've been denied for Fed ED. So after you guys go through PEUC, that's 13 weeks. After that reaches 0 is when you find out if you are if you're eligible for Fed ED. Jojo says his identity has been verified, but his account is still frozen. So that is taking about 6 to 8 weeks to get completely cleared up. So if your ID has been verified, that's a good sign. It means you're mostly through the process. And I would call them to find out how soon they're going to release that money to you, but it should be soon. And Goth Queen, I would go ahead and call as well to get the ball rolling on switching over to a PUA claim since you've been denied Fed ED. Trophy Wife 0 by 0 says hello. So good morning. Abi Cotter wants to know where the 300 went. That was only in effect for 6 weeks. I know it was kind of confusing when they issued it to us, but those were all retroactive. It was for the week ending 8/1, 8/8, 8/15, 8/22, 8/29, and 9/5. Currently, there's nothing and of a bonus or a stimulus. They're saying we will, obviously, like the election is a couple of days away at this point. So they're not going to do anything until after the election, and the timeline on when after the election is really up in the air, and it's largely going to depend on the outcome of the election. End of day says Trump is going to win. Let me scroll up a little bit. I've gone out of order, which I didn't mean to do. WOD? Says disaster relief, I guess, is the new name for my belated unemployment benefits that I applied since March 27th. And she's asking, how do you know if you're frozen? So if you're not able to transfer funds off of that Bank of America debit card, then, or you go to use that debit card at a grocery store or something like that, and the transaction gets declined, that's how you know that your account has been frozen. Sean says, good to see me. Oh, I always forget this. Like, I appreciate all of you so much, but I forget to say it enough. So really thank you guys for joining me. I hope everyone had a safe Halloween. And yeah, okay, back to the questions. Stephen is on regular unemployment in Arizona. It's $240 per week. His balance says $230 remaining. What happens after I use all of my unemployment? So Stephen, it works differently in all of the states, but you're going to be eligible for a PEUC extension. That was up to 13 weeks, but at this point, that program expires December 26th. So you should get PEUC at your same weekly benefit amount through December 26th. Movies and pizza for Halloween. That's awesome. Josh wants to know what happened to the $600 per week. So that is what Nancy Pelosi wanted in her HEROES Act bill, and that hasn't been passed yet. So, it has to pass both branches of Congress. So the House passed something, but the Senate didn't even want to put it on the floor because they knew it wasn't going to pass in the Senate. Then the president would need to sign it into law, and then they would need to tell the EDD how to distribute that money to us. And it's going to take a while for that to happen. Goth Queen watched a video of Trump signing a bill, so may want to check it out. I will check that out. I have not been on the news a whole lot yesterday or today. Fat and 30 says that they're down to their last $89 in California. Does it automatically sign you up for the extension? It will automatically sign you up for that PEUC extension. William hasn't gotten their $300 a week, and they're in New Jersey. Let me grab my phone. The website that I love for figuring out what's up with those $300 distributions, if you're not in California, it's called unemploymentpua.com, and that tells you where your state is in the process of distributing the funds. Florida does 12 weeks for $275 a week. 3,300. Then you went to 13. The numbers are a little jumbled here. For 35.75, she did it again for 39 weeks for 275. But all this ends 12/26/2020. So Linda, there should be a program in Florida, extended benefits. Florida doesn't give out unemployment for nearly as long as a lot of the other states do, but there should be another extension even after the 13-week PEUC extension called extended benefits in Florida. It does not end on 12/26. The extended benefits program is tied into your state's unemployment rate. So if your state has an unemployment rate higher than 6%, that program will be in effect. I'm looking at PUA.com, unemploymentpua.com really quick to find out about the $300 in New Jersey. It's saying that they've paid everything out as of 10/22/20. Now, I know here in California, the starting date that they have for when they paid that out wasn't necessarily the date for when everyone got it. So they're probably still rolling it out. But if you don't get it in the next few days, call your unemployment office and find out where that $300 is, because I am showing that New Jersey started sending out the money on 10/22. Here in California, it took several weeks kind of to get everybody caught up on those $300 payments. So I wouldn't worry too much because that's only been about a week. But if you don't get that $300 in the next couple of days, definitely give them a call. Good morning, little princess. Queen Smart says, my EB benefits stop a month ago. She signed up for PUA 2 weeks ago and haven't heard anything. So I do hear that once you're denied Fed ED, that here in California, which is EB everywhere else, that it does take a while, even if you're approved, to get rolled over to the PUA claim. And it should be only about 2 or 3 weeks that it takes for that to happen, and you should get that retroactive once you start to receive it from when you stopped receiving benefits. But if you guys are ever nervous about the date or it seems to be taking too long, give them a call. I am Mr. Perez says in California, they got denied for Fed ED, filed for PUA. How long before you get answers? It's taking about 3 to 4 weeks from the time you get the Fed ED denial letter to be approved for or for PUA, and that's after giving them a call. So I would give them a call and just say, hey, you guys approved me for PUA. How long until I'm able to certify to receive those benefits? And they should be able to tell you, and it should be retroactive. What did I do for Halloween? I have a small pod that I don't quarantine with them. We limited, it wasn't more than 3 households, which is what they're recommending right now. And we just got together. It was very, very low key, about 4 of us. End of days qualified. I'm assuming that means for Fed ED, so that's great. Joel Kent asked to speak to a tier 2 representative. Yeah, and all the phone lines are going through the same phone tree now, but definitely it's the tier 2 representatives that are going to be able to provide you the most help. It's very hard to get through to them still, unfortunately. William says that they called unemployment twice. They don't know why I haven't received it, and they said that they were approved, but they don't have a reason why. Yeah, unfortunately, you have to keep calling until you get the right rep that can help you, and that's increasingly difficult. So, Goth Queen, you got the denial for Fed ED. Call them and say, "Hey, I thought it was supposed to be automatic that you would enroll me in PUA, but I haven't heard anything about getting PUA yet. Can you please help me get enrolled in that program?" David said it took him 5 weeks to get PUA, and yes, it's retroactive. That's good. I'm sorry it took 5 weeks to get it after getting the denial letter, but I'm glad that you are now getting PUA. Helen says, do I stop certifying if I'm working 36 hours? Typically, her hours were 24. She started her weekly benefits on 5/21, signed up in April, and her weekly benefit amount is $312. So I would recommend continuing to certify until your hours stabilize or until, it'll give you the excessive earnings warning if you've made too much, but it doesn't hurt to keep certifying and kind of keep your claim open in case they have to cut your hours down again. Good morning, Norwalk Chess. Queen Smart, is PUA only for self-employment because your mother's PUA took a few days? So PUA is generally for those who are self-employed, but it's also for people who don't otherwise qualify for a regular unemployment claim. So that can be a lot of things. That can be you were enrolled in college and you had a job lined up for when you got out of college, but that job had to shut down because of COVID, and they had to retract their job offer. So that's how some people are getting it when they haven't even worked, is if they had like a legitimate job offer and the job wasn't able to honor that offer. And it's also available to those people who were on regular unemployment claims who didn't make enough to qualify for Fed ED. That's the extension after PEUC. Then you would qualify for PUA as long as the reason why you're currently unemployed is due to a COVID-19 related reason. And it's also, let's say you had just started a job and then got laid off due to the illness. So you didn't really have enough work history to qualify for a regular unemployment claim, then you would also qualify for a PUA claim. So it's basically a catch-all right now for anybody who doesn't qualify for a regular unemployment claim. Edward says his PEUC will expire October 31st, which is yesterday. What to expect now that he lives in California. So next you'll get a letter letting you know if you are qualified for Fed ED. And if it's approved, you'll start getting your money like usual. If you get denied, even though the switch to PUA is supposed to be automatic, you may need to call them to expedite the process of getting enrolled onto a PUA claim. David, oops, okay, I'm gonna scroll up a little bit. If you haven't already, please take a moment and hit the like button. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you all joining me today. Let's see here. Okay, I lost it, so I'm gonna go to Linda's question. She's on FPUA, it ends on 12/26. Do they give you 39 weeks in Florida, but your 39 weeks would end on July 2021. Okay. And on her paperwork, it says it ends 12/26/2020. Will there be something else that she gets after 12/26/2020? Right now, so you're on PUA claim, and that program is something that they created just because of the illness in the CARES Act, and the language in that bill makes it expire 12/26. So if you're on PUA, if you're on the PEUC extension, those programs all terminate December 26th. That's why we were hoping so much that Congress voted on and passed a bill that the president signed into law. So we're really still hoping that that happens, but as of right now, there's nothing. It is expected that they'll do something and that they'll extend that program, but we were also expecting that they would have already done it before the election, and they didn't. So right now, December 26th is the end for that program, and there's not anything extra available. Common Sense wants to know, is the $300 over in California? It is, and we're also waiting on Congress to pass a bill for that. Don't Trip says that they got a job and reported their hours and never got paid for the weeks when I was working, but still waiting for your check. So if you're still waiting for your first check from your job and you made too much to qualify for benefits, that's normal. Or are you saying you never got your check from your employer and you don't think you're going to get it? But yeah, if you're getting paid, like a lot of times you don't get paid for almost 3 weeks when you start a new job, but you wouldn't get money from unemployment for those weeks because you were working those weeks. And it sounds like you reported it correctly because you report it for the week that you earned the money, not the week that you were paid. So it's just hard times right now while you're waiting for that first check, but it sounds like you did everything correctly. Let me know if I misunderstood, and if I misunderstood, I'm very sorry. William says, is there another extension after you exhaust your funds next month? It depends. If you are on a PUA claim, there's not another extension. If you are on PEUC, there could potentially be another extension called Fed ED or extended benefits, depending on your state. That is tied into your state's unemployment rate. And so it's possible that if you meet the earnings requirements, that you would qualify for that program. And those earning requirements are 40 times your weekly benefit amount. So whatever your weekly benefit amount is times 40, if you made more than that during the whole 12 months that they use to calculate how much you would get each week, then you would qualify. If you don't qualify that way, another method is on your award letter, you look for your highest earnings quarter and multiply that by 1.5. If you made more than that during that whole 12-month period, then you would qualify. And that program lasts up to 20 weeks in California, and it's good for as long as the unemployment rate is above 6%, which is looking like it's going to stay above 6% for a long, long time. Now, it's not like, oh, the program goes like after your 20 weeks, you get more weeks as long as the unemployment rate is above 6%. Right now, it's a maximum of 20 weeks. They are looking at potentially extending that. They haven't yet. Okay. Edward says, your PEUC expires October 31st. I think I answered that one. Did you send in the form? You guys are helping each other out. I appreciate that. Do you think we will get retroactive back to September unemployment after a new stimulus is passed? I do think that they will do that. There are some discrepancies based on exactly how far retroactive into September. If the Democrats win the Senate and they keep the House and the Democrats win the presidency, it would likely be retroactive all the way back to September 5th. However, they're saying that if we flip the Senate and we flip the presidency, that's when they might not pass anything until after the inauguration. So that's the inauguration is in January 20th of 2021. So, but they do want to go retroactive to when the LWA $300 ended, that ended September 5th. So it would kick in September 6th. What the Republicans have proposed, and so if Trump stays the president and if they flip the House to Republican, that they only want to go retroactive to the week starting a week later. It's either the 12th or the 13th that it starts. Let me check my calendar here. Sorry. I always get that date a little bit mixed up, and I want to give you guys the right date. So that would be retroactive to the week starting September 13th is what the Republicans want. You guys, I want everybody to vote to whoever you believe will do the job the best. But I have to be honest, I'm hoping that it's either all Republican or all Democratic, because that's kind of what one of the hangups is right now with getting this bill passed. Is the House is controlled mostly by Democrats and the Senate is controlled mostly by Republicans, and they have to agree on the wording of the bill and the amount of the bill and the retroactive date in the bill, and they haven't been able to do that yet. So I'm just hoping that they can agree so that they can get the bill passed, and that would be easier if everything was either all Republican or all Democratic. If it was all Democratic, though, they're saying that nothing would really happen during that lame duck period and the transition of power. Sorry, I'm moving around here. Because there wouldn't be a lot of incentive. Like if the Republicans in Senate knew that they were leaving, there's not a lot of incentive for them to pass to basically help a Democratic president. So I really wish that they could put all these politics behind them and look at what the people need, because I'm starting to hear more and more stories of people having to move into their car and things like that, and it's really awful. Okay, sorry, end rant. So I do think that they will pass something. I don't know how much it's going to be. The Democrat side has talked about 600 and going retroactive all the way to September 6th. The Republican side has talked about 400 to 450 and going retroactive 1 week later, starting September 13th. Okay. Yeah, I answered that. Steven says they're on Arizona unemployment. Okay, I think I read that one. Hold on, let me read it. I'm on Arizona unemployment and my balance is $230 left. After my balance is done, do they continue to send me weekly unemployment? And when I just owe them a balance, or do they just stop? It just stops. Once your balance hits zero, it stops. But if this is the first part of your regular unemployment claim, you will get PEUC extension through December 26th. And then after that, potentially extended benefits. Mercedes says her extension ran out. When I was to certify, the website said to call the unemployment the following week, and she was able to certify, but she's not sure what program she's in. I'm not sure either. I think if you go to your claim history, that it might tell you there what kind of claim you're in. I can't remember. Susie said her Fed ED will be exhausted in 2 weeks. Do I need to open a new claim at that time? So I always worry that people aren't talking about the right program. So are you sure it's Fed ED, Susie, and that you're not just about to run out of PEUC? Because that's the first extension. If you are really about to run out of Fed ED, then yes, as long as your claim year has ended, you would need to file a new claim. Also, it depends on how much they originally loaded up your Fed ED claim with, because it lasts up to 20 weeks. And if they only loaded you up with 13 weeks, it's possible that you would have an additional 7 weeks coming on that. File online, it's faster. Yes, online is usually faster. Thomas sent me some hearts. Can you work DoorDash while doing unemployment? Afghan Brad Pitt. I love when he pops in the chats because I think that's a funny name. Not a funny, like a clever name. Very, very movie star-esque Afghan, which is awesome. So you can work DoorDash, but it's going to depend again on your earnings and your weekly benefit amount. You would need to report your DoorDash earnings, which could lower the amount that you're getting from unemployment. And if you make too much, they could give you an excessive earnings warning, and then you wouldn't get any benefits that week. And although we haven't seen the exact language on the bill because it hasn't passed, if you get an excessive earnings warning for a week, whatever boost they decide on, you wouldn't be eligible during a week you made too much. And I do have a video, if you search Shelly's Millions excessive earnings, that'll pop up. And in the top comment there, if you don't, I would love it if you guys watch that video. But if you just want to know if you're going to make too much, I did pin a comment on that video that takes you to a benefit calculator that can estimate if you'll still qualify that week or not. This sounds like a good time to mention that if I don't get to your question here on the live chat, I'm very sorry. I'm glad that you've joined me. You can reach out to me on Instagram. It's just Shelly's_millions, and I will do my best to answer your question there. And I appreciate all you guys, and make sure to give the video a thumbs up down below. Okay. Edward says, thank you. Thank you guys. Susie Rico and a Fed ED, and that's, I do believe, Shelly. Oh, I don't understand the question. End of days says, thank you. WC1A says, that's it. Yeah, after Fed ED runs out, that is it. But okay. And I don't want to tell you not to worry, because it's been a long time without a boost. I think everybody's worried right now. I think me and Heidi are like, oh, worried about, like, is our old job going to open back up again? We're worried if we're going to be able to pay our bills. I do want to say, and this applies to me too, I certainly worry. I have a lot of, my car maintenance light came on. My mom's house needs repair work. It's winter. It means the bills are going up. With that said, worrying doesn't help anything. So you have to try and plan. And I know it's really hard right now, but do your best to, like, make up a contingency plan. Maybe you got to sell something on eBay. Maybe you want to find somebody that you really, really trust and rent them your couch. But you want to be careful with that. You don't want to get stuck with somebody on your couch who also can't pay you rent. But lots of people are going to be resourceful. I don't want to hear about people. I mean, if you have to live in your car, it breaks my heart, but I want you guys to come up with a plan. With that said, in the past, when there was a recession in 2008, 2009, they did extend unemployment for up to 99 weeks. However, that didn't go smooth. Just like getting these boosts isn't smooth, there were gaps and weeks of no payment and then retro payment. So I do think that they're going to extend it. I have a feeling it could easily go to that 99 weeks again. I think it's good that there's a precedent that they did that before. But as of right now, once your 20 weeks of Fed ED is up, then that's it. So WC1A is correct on that. What do you do if you have exhausted your EB? You can try and open a new claim, but unfortunately, if you've been on unemployment long enough to run out of all the extensions, you may not have enough work history to qualify for a new claim. Temporarily, you could potentially qualify for PUA, because remember that program's also for if you don't have enough earnings in your history, you get PUA, but that program is set to expire December 26th. Kira says her balance will run out at the end of November. How long will it take till She transfers to get paid, and it ended December 26th. Will I get transferred to Fed ED automatically? So it depends on what kind of claim you're on, and you do need to qualify for Fed ED. So if your balance runs out in November, you would get a few weeks of the PEUC extension, and that happens really automatically. The EDD actually is able to do that well with no gaps, no delays in getting paid. So you get that through December 26th. And then after that, they will let you know if you qualify for Fed ED or not. David says, I was getting $325 a week on regular unemployment. Now you're getting $450 a week on PUA. Yay! That's awesome. So I do want to say, and I haven't had a chance to look into this a lot, why that happens is, and for people making less than $100, the switch to PUA is going to be really good because minimum amount on PUA is $167. So if you are making less than $167, your weekly benefit amount is going to go up. But I think what happens when they calculate your PUA, most of us that were unemployed, I'm going to really generalize this right now. Most of us that are unemployed, it's due to the pandemic. So most of us went on unemployment in kind of like March and April. So when they calculated our base period, they actually used October, November, and December of 2018. But PUA, they use 2019. So what likely happened is your earnings were higher in 2019 when they used a different base period to calculate your amount. But that's awesome. I'm happy you're getting more. William says, nice smile. Thank you. Kira says, yes. No, end of days is telling Kira yes. And I'm not sure what that's about. Hopefully the question got answered. Mercedes says she's on FPUC, extended benefits, for 13 weeks, but they are over. More info. So I actually think that the FPUC, there's so many acronyms, you guys, and it's hard and I stumble sometimes as well. I think that FPUC was actually that $600 boost. And that's definitely over. But then she's got in parentheses EB. So that the extended benefits, the PEUC extension, that ends December 26th. But if you qualified for EB in other states or Fed ED, that lasts up to 20 weeks, depending on your state. Not all states even give a full 20 weeks, but some do. So it depends on your state, and that's tied into the state's unemployment rate. Kira says, how long will Fed ED last? So, and is your first balance actually your own money from paying tax every year? Ugh. That's hard for me to say. So Fed ED is a federally funded program. So on some level it's normally funded 50-50 by the state you live in and by the federal government. But because of the CARES Act right now, it's 100% federally funded through December. And then after that, it goes back to the 50-50 split. So, I mean, on some level, yes, our taxes are paying for this. However, I always thought that we paid into the unemployment program, but I don't think that's accurate anymore. I don't think we pay unemployment tax per se. I think that's mainly paid by our employer. But I mean, on some level, yes, our taxes pay for these programs. Okay, Melissa says she has a not paid status for 2 weeks. Call them and find out why you were not paid. A lot of times not paid could mean that they need to verify your ID, and then that process takes a little while. Don't Trip says, thanks. You guys are all welcome. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for getting up on the morning after Halloween and joining me here. What happens when you run out of your second UI extension? Mike, I think I covered that. As of right now, nothing, but they could very possibly vote on something. Okay, I think I skipped a few. Let me try and go back up. Don't Trip is giving me a lot of like high fives. Okay. If you have money left over from your PUA after the 31st of December, what happens to that money? It's just kind of gone. It goes back to the federal government to use. And I do think that they will extend that program, but I'm not sure if they'll actually extend it before December 31st or if it'll wait till after the inauguration. You might see the money in your claim balance, but the whole program expires then as it's written now. So it just kind of disappears. I hope that made sense. Gregory says, I'm on regular unemployment and your 26 weeks ends in 2 weeks. You'll certify then, after which they'll pay me 2 weeks and what to expect exactly then on PEUC. So you're on PEUC, your weekly benefit amount will remain the same, and you'll get that through December 26th. And then if you're going on, since you're on a regular unemployment claim, after December 26th, they'll let you know if you qualify for Fed ED or not. Good morning. I hope everyone's doing all right as well. Let's see. It's so ridiculous if there's no agreement to stimulus after all these months. They ended up with nothing. I agree. I cannot believe that they let this happen. You have 2 weeks. Okay, answered that. Call them. Ernesto gave me a heart. I love you guys too. I miss all of the employees that I work with whose faces I know, like Heidi. I miss seeing my friends, but I've started to get to know you guys and your stories, and I've gained your trust, and I appreciate that. And I think of you guys as extended family too. Now, do sometimes extended family have like a crazy uncle that like says weird stuff at the picnic or like makes a weird macaroni salad? Yes, but that doesn't mean that they're not family and that you don't care for them. So I really do. I care about what happens to all of you guys, and that's why I wanted to do these chats, because I wasn't able to keep up with your comments on the channel, because at this point there's over 90 videos on the channel that all are still getting comments. So this is just the easiest way for me to do this. So if I don't get to your comment on the channel, it's not that I'm just like, oh, some YouTuber that doesn't care. I don't know you guys personally, but oh my God, I'm gonna get emotional. But I do care about you guys, and I care about what's happening, and I care that our government has failed us in this. Okay, sorry. Don't worry about me. I'm fine. I get weepy a lot. Like, it's just how I am. I'm pretty sure that I'm like a manager and I'm Heidi's manager when we're working, and I'm sure she's seen me cry, like 100% sure she's seen me cry, because that's how I am. I'm a little bit emotional because I care. All right. They're jockeying for power and waiting in a waiting game until after the election. That's absolutely true. And I've heard that they're going to be a pain in the patootie and not wanting to help. If both the House and the Senate aren't the same party, I've heard that they're not going to want to help the other side, that they're going to be like bitter, sore losers and just let us suffer because of it. Yep. They're cutting off extensions December 26th. Fiona, I can't see you typing, but I see your comment. I haven't gotten to your question yet. Eric wants to know, can I get back unemployment if I already started a new job? So I think what you're asking is, if they pass a stimulus, would you get that money? And the answer is yes. So hang on to your EDD debit card. Don't throw that out, because it should be retroactive either to September 6th or September 13th. And yes, if they agree on a boost and pass it, then whenever they do that, for all the weeks before you had a job, they would send you that boost. So hang on to that card. Don't just like leave it lying around. Put it somewhere safe. But yes, it would be retroactive. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh God, someone says they're going to be homeless. Gregory, I'm so sorry. I'm really, no, you shouldn't have to be homeless. And I'm so sorry. Check out the eviction ban here in California. Even when that expires on the federal level, California has extended that. Your landlord shouldn't be able to kick you out. I know that you kind of still owe that rent even after the ban is lifted, and maybe that's too stressful. But it's winter, it's going to be cold in your car. There's just a YouTuber though, and she lives in her car and she documents it. She's like a cool little tray and like these little blackout things in her windows. And a lot of people do van life. So Gregory, I'm so sorry to hear that, but do your best to take care of yourself and stay safe and healthy. Freddie G wants to know how long are the extensions. So the extensions are mostly through December 26th, except for the one, depending on your state, it's either just called extended benefits or FED-ED here in California. And that's tied into your state's unemployment rate. As long as your state's unemployment rate remains above 6%, that program lasts up to 20 weeks. I can see you're from LA. How do you know that? Oh no. Well, I'm from LA and I'm proud of that. And somebody can see that Fiona's from LA. Shout out to my LA people. Also, like, if I'm smiling, I'm not laughing at anybody's question. I'm just smiling because, like, a lot of times on the lives, I answer the question several times throughout the lives, and so I'm just kind of smiling because I don't quite know how many people watched like the whole live, and so they also hear me answer that question several times on the same live versus like how many people pop in, get their question answered, and then pop back out. So I would like you guys to know that I would never laugh at your questions. The next stimulus, unemployment, retroactive from September 6th. That I did the calculation on that, and it's going to be a lot of money if they pass it. How do you find out how many weeks they preloaded for FED-ED? So you would kind of find your weekly benefit amount and take the total amount in the claim balance and divide that by your weekly benefit amount, and they could see how many weeks they loaded. I should also say that, okay, so here in California, it is 13 weeks plus 7 weeks. And the plus 7 is kind of like extra that California can tell the federal government they want to offer to us. It's optional that they give us those 7 weeks, but they have opted in for that. However, where they come up with the 13 weeks is it's half of your original claim length. So for most of us on unemployment claims, we got the full 26 weeks of unemployment benefits. But let's say for some reason you were on a regular unemployment claim and that only lasted 13 weeks. Even in California, you wouldn't get a full 20 weeks of FED-ED. You get half of the number of weeks that you were awarded on your claim. And I believe they round up. So if you were awarded 13 weeks of regular unemployment at first, then you would get 7 weeks plus 7 weeks for a total of 14 weeks on FED-ED. I know that's super confusing. Okay. Abigail. Okay, so we just answered Abigail's question, which I think helped Mike as well. So I hope that made sense. And it's possible that they will extend the number of weeks that FED-ED is given out when they eventually vote on something. I don't know how to say this person's name. Nene has used up all of their UI benefits and they don't qualify for FED-ED. They're already online for PUA. Do I have to register again online for that? It actually won't let you reopen a claim. I've been meaning to make a video on this. Even if they give you an option, well, you can reopen your claim. Like if you went to work and stopped certifying and they like kind of closed your claim, you can reopen your claim in that sense, but you don't want to like start anything new unless your benefit year has expired. So don't open a new claim. Don't try and open a new claim because that will actually like confuse the system. So just, I would call and I would say, hey, I got denied FED-ED. Can you help expedite the process to get me enrolled on the PUA claim? And you're great also. And I hope I didn't butcher your name. Okay. We feel for you. We suffered. They're playing a politics game. Yeah. I hate, they suck. Okay. Crowd chanting. Thanks for your info. You guys are all welcome. I appreciate you guys. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Someone just hit it. You're going to certify for your 3rd week this time. They will put yes to question 3 since your 2nd week is still pending. I know that they supposedly waived the work search requirement, but I think most people answer yes that they've looked for work. And then since the work search requirement is waived, they just don't list the places where they've looked for work. I'm wearing like my little SpaceX shirt today. Future is coming. This is not relevant anymore. It's like SpaceX fan art, where it's got like the SpaceX guy on the Game of Thrones Throne, but Game of Thrones has been over for a minute. But my point in saying that is that I normally go ahead and I apply. On the PEUC extension, it says that you're supposed to apply for 3 jobs. I just go ahead and do that because I'm worried. Yes, yes. I'm so sorry if I'm lagging. I'm kind of trying to go in order. I am reading the questions. A lot of times I get more questions than I can keep up with, and I do stop and I read the questions. They show up over here on to the side. I do lag. I go off on tangents. I'm sorry about that. If I don't get to your question during the live, please please hit me up on Instagram. It's Shelly's_millions, and I will do my best to answer your question there. I'm 20 minutes behind on live. That's a lot. I'm sorry. Okay, so I don't know whether to read faster or take more time. I don't know. I don't know the best method for that. You guys let me know. Do you want me to try and speed through faster and go into less detail, or do you want me to just read the questions slower and try and answer in more detail? That's a balance that I don't think I've figured out yet. Okay, probably not. This tangent was probably not helpful. Now I'm going to stop and read a question. Thank you for answering my question. One more. See, and then people write questions and then I lose my place. I totally lost my place and now the chat's jumping. So I'm going to pick up on someone else's question. Some politicians who put politics first and their own interests first, they'll still win in Senate elections like Mitch McConnell. What is going on with his hand, too? Look on your online EDD, and WC1A is like giving me the assist here, so I appreciate when all of you guys help each other out on the channel and in these in these chats. Takeda and Jeremy squad, hello. Okay. You have 4 weeks left. What to do after that? This is from William. It's going to depend. You'll either get the PEUC extension or you will get Fed ED. Where is Jenny Silver? I know she had some things to do. We're still trying to collaborate, like make our collaboration video. She's awesome. I know she has a couple of kids, and I do think they did some socially distant, safe Halloween stuff this weekend. You have the choice between eating or a room, so I'm already. You guys, if you haven't already, see if you qualify for food stamps or called CalFresh, SNAP benefits. I will make a video on that. Jenny Silver has already made a video on some things that you guys can do. And also don't be too proud to use a food bank. They are normally at local churches. And like, let's say you're Christian, but the food bank's at a Catholic church. That's fine. You don't need to be affiliated with the church to go use their services of the food bank. Get your food and don't be embarrassed to do that. Everything hits a cliff in December, yes, except for those extended benefits or Fed ED. You worry it hit the $0 balance and didn't automatically enroll, which means we will not get paid on those weeks. It should be retroactive, actually. Once they get everything sorted out, it should be automatic. Full max, $450 a week. That's the highest. That is the highest. Okay. You're on PEUC, which is zeroed out today. Is Fed ED automatically kicked in? So Bella, Fed ED, they will automatically check to see if you're eligible, but you do need to meet some earnings requirements, which is 40 times your weekly benefit amount or 1.5 times your highest earning quarter. If you qualify for Fed ED, it will automatically kick in. I have heard reports from some people that there may be a delay in getting that, but that will be retroactive to when you last got paid today. And if you don't qualify for Fed ED, they're supposed to automatically enroll you in PUA, but that process has not been going smooth, and so you may need to call them to get the ball rolling on that. Do I just call next week? Yeah, you guys can call. Sexy Swag says EDD still does not have enough people working for them and they're still behind. And they had a blip and it took a week longer. Yeah, I'm actually, I'm still furloughed and I'm hoping that I go back. But if I don't, like if something happened and my job permanently closed, like I think I'm going to apply to work at the EDD. If the House and the Senate go Republicans, will Mitch McConnell still be the majority leader? I think so. If they go Republican, because he is a Republican. So I think he would still be the majority leader, and the Republicans are pushing for a smaller package. Okay, where am I? Check your money on the EDD card or call the number on the back of the card. But I think you'd want to check your claim balance. You might like it. It's a dance song. I must have missed something. Okay, you're feeling depressed since waking up. Is this a live feed? Thank you, Bella. I'm glad that it's brightening up your day. You guys are very welcome. If you want to show me your appreciation, make sure to hit that like button. And I appreciate all of you. Any updates to the PUA for those denied Fed ED? Some people are reporting that it's been automatic, the switch to PUA, and to just be patient. But I know it's really hard to be patient when like your money's on the line. And if you call and get a tier 2 rep, they often can roll you over, and then that'll be faster. We answered the how do you check the amount that was loaded for Fed ED. Oh, I really do cry a lot, Heidi. Is that what we're talking about? I don't know. How do I check? Yes, yes. So take your weekly benefit amount and divide it by the amount that you see in your claim balance. Your independent contractor claim is soon over. Is there an extension? So that's the PUA program. And as of right now, they have not extended that program. Little Evie Cheese! Oh my God. This is another one of, she doesn't even work with us anymore. Evie, are you doing, she's in school in Santa Cruz. Are you doing online classes? Were you hit by the fire? She normally works for us over Thanksgiving because that's when she comes visits for her break. And we can't do that this year because we're not open. I hope she's still in the chat. I like to also keep track of all my old employees because they're like extended family as well. And like, it's just exciting for me to see people that I know in real life in here. Okay. Sherry says she ran out of regular unemployment and received a letter weeks ago saying that she has PEUC and did her claim last weekend, but didn't get any money yet. I would call them. Does it say paid under claim history when you look? If so, did they ask you to verify your ID? If not, if they did, you'll need to verify your ID with the EDD. If they didn't, call the Bank of America and ask them, say, hey, it's showing as paid when I check my claim history on the EDD website, but you guys haven't loaded the money onto my card yet. What's going on? So you'll have to give them a call. You've been living out of your car for the past year. It's rough, but not too bad. That's good. Well, it's not good that you're living in your car, but it's good that it's not too bad. Freddie Marr says, Crazy Nancy, holding our unemployment, $300, $600 bonus on top of their UI benefits. Now that your ID verify is electronic, has anybody dealt with this? Lisa, a lot of people are dealing with it. It's still taking 6 to 8 weeks to clear up ID verification, which is a little bit faster. It was taking about 10 to 12 weeks before they had the ability to upload it. Am I at the end of the questions? No. I am going to wrap this up in about 10 minutes. So let's see. Yeah, I do suggest calling after 11 a.m. to the EDD because I feel like all the other channels say call as soon as that they're open. And I have heard that the tier 2 reps kind of work from like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So your best bet to get a tier 2 rep is calling sometime between those 2 hours or those 8 hours, which is really 9 hours, but plus their lunch. Anyway, 11 a.m. to that gives them, they're not on lunch yet, and they're probably like not like, oh, I don't want to answer that call because I'm about to go on lunch. So I figure 11 a.m. is a good time. And I do have better luck getting through at 11 a.m. when you need to call the EDD. Wait, what? Oh no, there's not. I don't have an elf on a shelf. My mom got me a little monkey. Is that what are you guys talking about, the weird stuff on my shelf? This is from my mom. Odd, but it's from my mom, so I've got to keep it. It's okay. If you got 600 then extended 13, well, I get the same amount. You should get the same amount. Yeah. Oh my God, you graduated? Little Evie Cheese graduated? If you're working, Evie Cheese, me and Heidi, we need jobs, and Javi too. But Javi's starting his own company. I wish that like we could make the politicians dance, monkeys. Okay. Princess Little John says, if I got one extension from EDD PEUC, I think that's supposed to say, will you receive another? You could potentially be eligible for the Fed ED extension. Check out the song Dance Monkey. All right, we'll check it out. Of course you keep it. Happy to see your mom's comment. I may have stole her computer and like made her, which is really her phone, and made her comment. But she was happy about that. She never comments on my videos, which would help them. It helps my videos, you guys, if you like them and you comment on them, and if you share them, and if you watch them to the end. So if you guys want to help me out, help the channel out, that's the best way to do it. And I really appreciate all of you. Someone's commenting, I do have Banksy pillows. My boss, Nita, I probably shouldn't have said her name, but for those of you guys that know her, she watches the channel and she says she's getting bored of my background and I need to switch it up. For PUA, you can go online and apply. That's what they told me. Not if you're still within your benefit year. You can't open a new claim as long as you are within your same benefit year. If you made $4.99 in unemployment since March, will I get the extended benefits? I'm almost done with the 13 weeks. I recently found your channel. Thank you, Patty. I appreciate you. It really depends. So that for Fed ED, they're going to be looking at the 12-month base period from when they originally gave you your award letter. So that's what you're going to want to look at. And it's 40. So it doesn't matter how much you made necessarily. It matters the amount, your weekly benefit amount times 40. And if you made more than that during your whole base period that they use to calculate how much your weekly benefit amount is, then that's when you'll qualify. Junior says they're a little late. Did they stop the $300 on top of your minimum? Yes, they have stopped that for now, and it's looking like it's going to be a little while. Can you do what's a smule video? You guys, sometimes I wonder about these things that you guys are suggesting. Especially with that like weird scary face. Okay. Sean L, good morning. Tier 2 reps are there till 8 p.m. Don't believe that they are not. Best time ever is Sunday morning to talk to anyone. I have heard that. I have heard that the best time to get through is on a Sunday. And yeah, I don't claim that I know for sure when those tier 2 reps are in there. I guess I just am thinking that because I figure like before the pandemic, they were probably working 9 to 5. And then like a lot of the people that aren't tier 2 reps are the new people that got hired just for this and for the extended hours. But yeah, it's entirely possible. It's also possible that, since all of this has been going on so long, that some of those people that they hired at the beginning have now been trained and moved into tier 2 reps. So yes, it's possible that the tier 2 reps are there. I prefer calling it 11 a.m. Yes, Queen Smart. I will answer one more question for you if I see it. I am nearing the end of the questions, though. You had a month gap before you could process a new claim, but in between you received 127 a week. That's interesting. I wonder Well, it's good that you got something. Do you mean 167? Because that's supposed to be the lowest that you get on PUA. Is Fed ED 13 weeks or 20 weeks prior? Okay, so Fed ED, it depends on your state, but in California is the only one that does Fed ED. So it's usually 13 weeks, but California has enabled 7 extra weeks, but it's always up to 20 weeks. So as long as you qualify, if you receive 26 weeks of regular unemployment, then you would get the 20 weeks of Fed ED as long as the unemployment rate stays above 6%, which it's looking like it's going to. And because of how California does it, how it's like the 13 weeks, but then they're adding 7 weeks, they may not load up all 20 weeks at once. And my theory on that is that maybe they want to, maybe they're hoping that we find a job before they have to give us all 20 weeks. So Fed ED lasts up to 20 weeks. Lake Bay has left me a message on Instagram. So I usually, I might not get back to him right away, but you guys can always reach me on Instagram, Shelly's_millions, if I didn't get to your question here. Sexy Swag only got 127 and they don't know why. Yeah, that seems weird. Did you have taxes taken out of it? Did you report any earnings? It shouldn't go down to 127 because of taxes. Anyway, okay, Derek says, if FPUC ends December 26th and we don't get another stimulus too late in January, do you think? Yeah, I do still think it'll be retroactive to sometime in December. Ice Chewbacca 2024. I have a Chewbacca mask. My roommate used it for their Halloween contest and they won. Banksy Shelly 2028. Well, only if we could find Banksy, right? They aren't giving the extra $300 anymore. That's correct for right now. Okay, here's Queen Smart's question. She asked if she could ask one last question. I think this will be it. Actually, I'm gonna do Sean Jackson's question, and then I'll do Queen Smart's, and those will be the last two. I switched over to EUC, but I haven't received a dime. I only got 3 payments of LWA, and now my unemployment says under investigation. So you're going to have to call them to find out why, and then you might need to file an appeal and say, no, it shouldn't be under investigation. But you're definitely going to need to call them and find out why that is, and then they should be able to point you in the right direction. Okay, so this is Queen Smart's question. You lost your job during coronavirus. You received regular unemployment, then I think you mean PEUC, then EB, and are now on PUA. Do you have you have been waiting 3 weeks for PUA. I feel like I won't receive because I'm not self-employed. No, you will, because that's how it is. If you're denied Fed ED, they will give you PUA, but call them and say, hey, it sounds like you were denied Fed ED. If you were denied Fed ED, just call them and say, hey, I thought on a couple of my videos and one of my community posts, I put up like the little flow charts for how that works. And actually, if you guys Google EDD flow chart, like it shows you like exactly how that process is supposed to go. So if you didn't make enough for Fed ED, like that's reason enough really to go on PUA, but they are going to still make you certify that the reason why you're currently unemployed is due to a COVID-19 related reason. So Queen Smart, go to my community post and you'll see like the little infographic there. You qualify just because you didn't qualify for Fed ED, as long as the reason why you're still unemployed right now today, which I think all of us are, is due to coronavirus. Okay, so hopefully that answered. Soji says hello. I'm going to read Bella V's question. Oh, she's sad when the people that really need help get screwed over due to the lowlife that's fraudulently submitting a claim. I'm not sure I don't know. I wish everybody could get the money that they need, but sadly, some of the people that I've heard that have done fraudulent claims are homeless people, and that's just like a sign that we did not. I know a lot of people are like California's really liberal and they give handouts to the homeless, but like if you guys lived here and see what we see on the streets, like you would want to help these people. You would. Or maybe you wouldn't wanna help them, but, like, you wouldn't wanna see them and you wouldn't want your kids to, like, walk down the street past them, like, they need help. So, I don't nobody should commit fraud, but it's a symptom, I guess, of a bigger problem. Okay, alright, everyone, if I did not get your question answered today, please hit me up on Instagram. I can answer it there. Shelly's underscore millions. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to keep doing these on Sundays. I hope you guys found it helpful. Sean L, why are you commenting at the end? I'm going to go ahead and read your thing. If denied Fed ED, call ED. If you do reach someone, they will fix it and do it correctly. Yes, you are all done with your 2-week time frame and never missed a week. Just don't wait, call them. Yes, I agree with that. Call anytime there's any question, go ahead and call them. And Lake Bay, thank you. You donated $2.99, so I am gonna read your. Do you have a question now? I don't see a question. You guys do not have to donate on the super chat. I set that up because eventually I want to talk about growing wealth, and people kind of make fun. They're like, you're telling people to invest in stocks even though we're all on unemployment. Yes, because we all need to learn to invest so that if something like this happens in the future, we're not quite as unprepared and knocked on our behinds as much as we were for this. So I want us all to do better. And I know we're all in a really tough place now, but in the future I want us to do better. Lake Bay, you didn't answer a question, so you just donated. So thank you. Thank you all. If you did have a question that I missed, hit me up on Instagram. And that's it, you guys. Have a great day. I will see you next time. Okay. Lake Bay's Instagram is nuke2222. I will be on the lookout for your message and make sure to get back to you. Kisses right back at you. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day and stay safe and healthy. And if you haven't done so already, please go vote. I never know how to end these things. Okay, here we go.